Welcome back to the war. Today, we're looking at a fighter jet that didn't just change how air combat was fought, it changed the entire image of what a jet fighter could do. The F-14 Tomcat didn't just dominate the skies, it became a pop cultural phenomenon and a symbol of America's air superiority. But why this jet? Why the F-14? And why not the many other capable aircraft of its time? Stick with me, because we're about to dig deep into what made the F-14 a living legend. And trust me, there's more to this story than just Top Gun. In the late 1960s, the US Navy faced a growing Soviet threat. They needed a new fighter jet capable of intercepting bombers and dogfighting enemy jets. What they got with the F-14 was a revolution in design. Built by Grumman, the Tomcat wasn't just fast, powerful, it was an engineering marvel. Those variable sweep wings were like nothing else. At lower speeds, they could extend for greater manoeuvrability, and at higher speeds, they would retract, reducing drag for supersonic flight. Here's a fact not everyone knows. The F-14 was the first American fighter to incorporate a variable geometry wing design, something that set it apart immediately from every other jet in the air. The wings could sweep back at 68 degrees, giving it maximum speed, or forward 20 degrees for tight precise turns. In addition to its wings, the F-14 also introduced a two-seat cockpit, with one seat dedicated to the radar intercept officer. This wasn't just a co-pilot. The RIO played a crucial role in managing the complex radar systems and weapons, making the F-14 one of the first jets to fully embrace teamwork in the cockpit. The F-14 Tomcat was ahead of its time, especially when it came to its radar and missile systems. It was equipped with an AWG-9 radar which could track 24 targets simultaneously. To put that in perspective, most of the fighters of the era could only track one or two. The F-14's radar could even track targets more than 100 miles away. That range, paired with the AIM-54 Phoenix missile, made the Tomcat a true long-range killer. Here's a crazy fact. The Phoenix missile, the F-14's signature missile, could hit targets up to 120 miles away. In testing, it once successfully intercepted a drone travelling at Mach 2, demonstrating just how dangerous the Tomcat could be from long ranges. Another fun fact, the radar on the F-14 was so powerful that in theory it could detect a large flock of birds in flight. While that wasn't its intended use, it shows just how far ahead of the curve this jet was in terms of detection. The F-14 might have been feared by adversaries, but it became a household name thanks to Top Gun in 1986. The movie not only made Tom Cruise a star, it turned the F-14 into the ultimate symbol of cool. But here's something that might surprise you. While Maverick and Goose may have thrilled audiences with their barrel rolls and high-speed chases, real Top Gun pilots were not impressed with how Hollywood portrayed their tactics. The real Top Gun program, officially called the Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program, was much more disciplined than the film showed. Pilots weren't allowed to perform any of the reckless stunts Maverick did, and most of those maneuvers would have gotten him grounded. But still, the movie did its job. Navy recruitment surged by 500% after Top Gun came out. The F-14's first combat came not with the US Navy, but with Iran. Before the 1979 Iranian Revolution, Iran was one of the few countries in the world to purchase the F-14. During the Iran-Iraq War, Iranian F-14s scored dozens of kills against Iraqi MiGs and Mirage fighters. Despite sanctions cutting off access to new parts, the Iranian Air Force kept its Tomcats flying for years, proving just how durable and effective the jet was. Iranian F-14s achieved an astonishing 160 confirmed kills during the Iran-Iraq War. That made it one of the most lethal air-to-air platforms of the era, even in foreign hands. When it came to the US operations, the F-14 saw action in conflicts like the Gulf of Sidra, where the US Tomcat shot down Libyan MiGs in the 1980s. The F-14 also played a vital role in Desert Storm, providing air cover and conducting reconnaissance missions using its sophisticated camera pods. But here's a lesser known fact. Before the F-117 Nighthawk took the lead as America's first stealth fighter, there was talk about modifying the F-14 to be a stealth platform. Grumman engineers considered adding radar absorbent materials to the jet's frame to reduce its radar cross-section, but the plan was scrapped due to high costs. Just imagine an F-14 with stealth capabilities and what that could have done and changed in air warfare. As impressive as the F-14 was, it wasn't without its problems. Early models were powered by the TF-30 engines, which were notoriously unreliable. In fact, the F-14 earned a reputation for engine stalls, especially during high angle of attack manoeuvres. Some pilots even called it the Turkey because of its rough handling in certain situations. But here's something most people don't know. The Tomcat's final variant, the F-14D, fixed most of these problems by swapping out the TF-30 engines for the GEF 110s. These new engines not only improved the Tomcat's performance, but also its reliability, making it a more capable jet overall. So why was the F-14 retired? By the early 2000s, the cost of maintaining the fleet had skyrocketed. Keeping the Tomcat combat ready was expensive. Each hour of flight required 40 hours of maintenance. On top of that, the Navy had a new multi-role fighter waiting in the wings, the F-18 Super Hornet. The F-14, once at the cutting edge of technology, was simply outclassed by newer, more versatile aircraft. The very last F-14 Tomcat was retired in 2006 after a ceremonial final flight. That aircraft is now on display at the National Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida, where it stands as a symbol of a bygone era of naval aviation dominance. Here's a twist. While the F-14 was retired from US service, Iran still operates a small fleet of Tomcats to this day. Despite sanctions and the lack of spare parts, Iranian engineers have reportedly reverse engineered components to keep their F-14s flying. Incredibly, the Iranian Air Force has even upgraded some systems, making these 50-year-old jets still somewhat relevant in modern air combat. Who would have thought the Tomcat would still be defending Iranian airspace in the 2020s? Even though the F-14 has been retired, its legacy endures. It's not just about the jet's impressive stats or combat record, it's about what the Tomcat represents. For the pilots who flew it, the Tomcat was more than a machine, it was a partner in the sky. The bond between a Tomcat pilot and their radar intercept officer was something unique, a true partnership in the air. Here's a fact that highlights just how iconic the F-14 is. Some of the technology and design principles pioneered by the F-14, like long-range missile interception and the ability to track multiple targets, have influenced modern jets like the F-35 Lightning II. The Tomcat was so advanced that even today's stealth fighters were part of their development to its groundbreaking systems. So, was the F-14 Tomcat the most iconic fighter jet ever built? It had the speed, the power, the radar and the weapons, and the ability to take on any enemy, anywhere in the world. Its combat record speaks for itself, and its cultural impact, fueled by both real-world engagements and Hollywood, carries it into the pantheon of aviation legends. But here's the final question. Could we see an aircraft with the same cultural and combat legacy as the F-14? With drones and AI slowly taking over, is there room for another Tomcat? Welcome back to the war. Now if you think you've seen cutting edge military technology, think again. Today we're diving into what many call the most impressive fighter jet ever built, the F-22 Raptor. But what really sets this stealthy beast apart from the rest? Is it just the speed, the agility, or maybe the fact that it's so advanced it's still unmatched nearly 20 years later, after it first entered service? You might think you know what makes a fighter impressive, but trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be asking yourself, is there anything out there that could ever top the F-22? Stick around as we unpack the secrets behind the jet that redefined air superiority. It's not just about the looks. Let's go back to the late 1980s. The Cold War is still raging, and the US Air Force needs something new, something that can dominate the skies, no matter what the Soviets throw at them. That's when the concept for the F-22 was born. But this wasn't just another jet. It was designed to be invisible. That's right, invisible to radar. Picture it, an enemy trying to detect an aircraft that's practically a ghost. The US wanted a fighter jet that could sneak into enemy airspace without anyone knowing it was there, till it was far too late. Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? Well, not anymore. Here's where things get interesting. Its competitors never stood a chance. More on that soon. So what makes the F-22 so hard to detect? It's all about the shape and materials. The jet's design literally deflects radar waves away from the source. Its edges, angles, and even the special coating absorbs radar signals, making it one of the most elusive jets in history. It can get close enough to enemies to strike without being seen or heard until it's too late. Imagine an enemy pilot and all of a sudden you're locked onto by a jet you didn't even know was there. Scary, right? Just wait until we get to its weapon systems. It'll blow your mind. But stealth is just one part of the F-22's story. This jet isn't just hiding in the shadows, it's also one of the fastest and most agile fighters in the world. Powered by two Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines, the Raptor can reach speeds of Mach 2.25. That's over twice the speed of sound. What's even crazier, the F-22 can supercruise. While most jets need afterburners to fly faster than sound, the Raptor can maintain supersonic speeds without using them. This means it can travel fast for longer periods without running out of fuel. And get this, those engines also allow the F-22 to do insane aerial maneuvers, what seem to defy the laws of physics. We're talking about backflips, rolls, turns so sharp that the human body is almost pushed to its limits. If you're wondering just how this thing performs in a dogfight, we're getting into that. Now let's talk dogfighting. The F-22 isn't just a fast stealthy jet, it's designed to dominate in close combat. In fact, the Raptor's agility in a dogfight is one of the main reasons it's feared by other nations. Picture this: in a simulated dogfight, the F-22 went up against multiple F-15 Eagles, one of the most respected fighter jets of all time, and it destroyed them. All of them. But how? Because the F-22 doesn't just rely on speed or weapons, it has unmatched agility and advanced sensors that allow the pilot to see and engage targets from miles away, long before the enemy even knows what's happening. And speaking of sensors, the Raptor's got something that no other fighter jet can match. Keep watching to find out. Let's dive into the brains behind the brawn. The F-22's avionics are what truly make it special. This jet has what's called sensor fusion. What's that, you ask? Well, imagine a pilot sitting in the cockpit, receiving real-time data from a bunch of different sensors: radar, infrared, and even electronic warfare systems. All of that data is combined into a single, easy-to-read display. It's like giving the pilot superhuman awareness. They can see targets, track them, and even share that data with other friendly aircraft in the area. Basically, the F-22 isn't just a lone wolf, it's a force multiplier for the entire Air Force. But if you think the tech is impressive, wait until we talk about its arsenal. When it comes to firepower, the F-22 is equipped to take down anything in the sky or on the ground. Its internal weapon bays are packed with AMRAAM and Sidewinder missiles, and it even has the ability to carry bombs for ground targets. What's even more impressive is how it carries these weapons. Unlike other jets that have external missile racks, which create drag and reduce stealth, the F-22 carries its missiles inside. That keeps it aerodynamic and undetectable. When it's ready to fire, the bay doors open for just a fraction of a second, letting the missiles out before closing again, almost like nothing happened. Sneaky, right? But what about the competition? Let's compare it to modern rivals. Now there are other impressive fighter jets out there, like the Russian Su-57 or the Japanese J-20, but none of them have achieved what the F-22 has. Some argue that these newer jets could challenge the Raptor. But here's the thing, the F-22 still holds the title for the most balanced fighter when it comes to stealth, speed, agility and firepower. The truth is, while these newer jets may excel in some areas, they can't match the all-round dominance of the F-22. And that's why, even today, no one has built a fighter that can fully take it on. Trust me, there's more to this story, like why the US stopped making them. Stay tuned. You're probably wondering, if the F-22 is so amazing, why did the US stop building them? Here's the strange twist. The F-22 was almost too good. At a cost of $150 million per jet, the program became too expensive to maintain in large numbers, especially as threats shifted from air-to-air combat to more asymmetrical warfare like terrorism and cyber attacks. But that doesn't mean the F-22 is obsolete, not by a long shot. In fact, the Raptor is still the backbone of US air dominance today. But what does the future hold? Is the F-22 still king? Let's wrap this up. So is the F-22 Raptor the most impressive fighter jet ever? Absolutely. It's a marvel of engineering, combining stealth, speed, agility and firepower in a way that's not even matched. Even today, nearly 20 years after it first entered service, it's still the fighter jet that every other nation fears. But with the rise of drones, AI and next generation fighters like the F-35 Lightning. The future of air combat is constantly evolving, yet for now, the F-22 remains the gold standard. So the real question is, will there ever be a fighter more impressive than the Raptor? Only time will tell. Welcome back to the war. If you thought fighter jets had a shelf life, think again. This jet is an icon in the skies and still out there, dominating battlefields and setting the bar for air superiority decades after it first took off. But how? How does a fighter designed in the 1970s remain a critical piece of modern air forces today, when the world is obsessed with cutting-edge stealth fighters? This is no museum piece. It's a war machine that's still going strong and evolving. By the end of this video, you'll see why the F-15 Eagle isn't just surviving, it's thriving. The story of the F-15 starts in the heat of the Cold War. The US needed a fighter that could counter the Soviet Union's top aircraft. But they didn't just want to match the enemy, they wanted to surpass it. Enter the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, designed for air superiority with a simple but powerful goal, not a pound, for air to ground. With its twin-engine design, advanced radar, and unmatched manoeuvrability, the F-15 was built to win dogfights. It wasn't just fast, it was the fastest, capable of speeds over Mach 2.5, and it could outclimb and outturn anything the Soviets could throw at it. But what really set the F-15 apart, it's not just about speed and agility, it's about how this plane became undefeated in air combat. Stick around to find out just how it earned its legendary kill to loss ratio. Since its first flight in 1972, the F-15 has seen action in conflicts across the globe. In the hands of skilled pilots, it's racked up an incredible record. Over 100 aerial victories without a single loss in air-to-air combat. From the skies over the Middle East to defending NATO airspace, the F-15 has been a true game changer. In Operation Desert Storm, it established air superiority within days, knocking out Iraqi MiGs with ruthless efficiency. And even today, the F-15 continues to be critical in the US and Allied air forces. But the F-15's record isn't just built on past glory. What makes it still a force to be reckoned with today? Let's take a look at its upgrades. How do you keep a plane designed in the 1970s competitive in a world of 5th generation stealth fighters like the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning? Simple. You keep upgrading it. Over the years, the F-15 has seen major improvements, from better avionics to the integration of modern weapon systems. The F-15E Strike Eagle variant added ground attack capabilities, making it a multi-role fighter that could dominate both air and ground targets. This version wasn't just for dogfights anymore, it could bomb targets with pinpoint precision and still outmaneuver most enemy fighters. But even the Strike Eagle was just the beginning. What if I told you the F-15 is now getting its most significant upgrade yet? You don't want to miss what comes next. As impressive as the original F-15 is, the US Air Force has pushed its evolution even further with the F-15 EX Eagle II. Officially rolled out in 2021, this new variant is set to bring the F-15 into the modern age. It's packed with advanced avionics, radar systems, and can carry more weapons than any previous model, up to 22 air-to-air missiles. The F-15EX is built to complement the stealthy F-35 Lightning. While the F-35 might sneak past enemy radar, the F-15EX can carry out heavy-duty missions, overwhelming the enemy with its sheer firepower. It's not about stealth here, it's about brute strength and versatility. Plus, the F-15EX has something the newer jets don't: a lower cost and greater availability. It's proof that sometimes the best option is to improve what's already working. But why does the US military need the F-15EX when it already has 5th generation jets like the F-35? The answer might surprise you. The F-15's continued relevance isn't just about upgrading an old design, it's about fulfilling roles that other jets can't. While stealth fighters like the F-22 and F-35 are excellent at sneaking past enemy defences, they're also expensive, limited in numbers, and not always suited for every mission. The F-15, on the other hand, can carry a heavier load of weapons, fly longer without refuelling, and can be used in a wider range of combat scenarios. Its large radar signature doesn't matter in airspace, where enemies don't have the ability to challenge US air superiority. In fact, the F-15EX is perfect for what's called Day 1 warfare, when you need overwhelming force to crush the enemy quickly. So how long can the F-15 continue to be part of the US arsenal? Could it outlast even the F-22 and F-35? Here's the thing, the F-15 shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, the US Air Force has ordered at least 144 F-15EX jets, ensuring that this fighter will remain a staple of American air power for decades to come. Some experts even believe the F-15 could outlast the more fragile, high-tech 5th generation jets due to its rugged design and versatility. With upgrades planned for years ahead, including advanced electronic warfare capabilities and even more powerful engines, the F-15 may very well be flying strong into the 2040s and beyond. This jet, which was originally designed to combat Cold War threats, has evolved into a plane capable of meeting the challenges of the 21st century. So what's the secret to the F-15's longevity? It's simple. When you build a plane that's fast, powerful, and adaptable, you're not just designing a fighter, you're creating a legend. The F-15 isn't just a fighter jet that refuses to die. It's one that keeps getting better. From its unmatched kill record to its modern day upgrades in the form of the new F-15 EX Eagle II, this aircraft has earned its place in aviation history. And as long as there are battles to be fought, the F-15 will be there, still going strong. To answer the question, is the F-15 the greatest fighter jet ever built? The F-18 Hornet, a machine that roars through the skies at supersonic speeds. This fighter jet isn't just fast, it's a game changer in air combat, taking on missions that leave others in its vapor trail. Now imagine you're in the cockpit of a jet that can go from 0 to 1,915 miles per hour, drop bombs, fire missiles, and dogfight all in one mission. That's the F-18 for you. This video isn't just a rundown of its specs. We're diving into what makes the F-18 such a phenomenon, its design, its combat stories, and why it's still flying after 40 years. Welcome back to the war. The story of the F-18 starts in the early 70s, when the US Navy wanted a fighter jet that could do it all. One that could attack, defend, and operate off a carrier. Enter the F-18 Hornet. But it wasn't built from scratch. This supersonic beast took a lot from its predecessor, the YF-17, a prototype with massive potential but lacking the Navy's needs. Engineers turned that design into something that could handle intense aerial manoeuvres, withstand brutal carrier landings, and pack a punch with a variety of weapons. But the F-18 wasn't just a solo act, it was part of a bigger team that changed air combat. So how did it earn its top dog reputation? The Hornet is built with twin engines, meaning twice the power and a backup if things go south. Its speed? Mach 1.8. We're talking nearly twice the speed of sound. It's agile enough to pull high G turns and outmaneuver opponents in tight dogfights. The F-18's frame is lightweight but durable, allowing it to endure high-stress missions and brutal landings. It's like a sports car that can handle extreme off-road conditions. And yet, the Hornet's secret weapon isn't just speed, it's a multi-role fighter, something not all jets can claim. But what makes that multi-role ability so game-changing in modern combat? What sets the Hornet apart from most fighter jets is its flexibility. While many aircraft specialise in either air-to-air or air-to-ground, the F-18 does both seamlessly. With a quick switch in loadout, it can take off with air-to-air missiles or intercepting enemy jets, or load up with bombs, ground targets. One mission is shooting down an enemy fighter, the next is taking out a bunker. This adaptability is one reason it's been involved in almost every major US conflict since the 80s. The Gulf War, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq and beyond. The F-18 can handle almost anything thrown at it, making it a powerful tool for the Navy. But where the F-18 really shines is in carrier operations. Ever wondered how it feels to be launched off an aircraft carrier at over 150 miles per hour? Let's dive in. Carrier-based aviation is no joke, and the F-18 was designed to thrive here. Picture this, you're strapped in, engines roaring, and in seconds, the catapult system slings you off the deck, hurling you in the sky at mind-bending speeds. The Hornet's sturdy design ensures it can handle the extreme forces of both launching and landing on these floating runways. Not all jets can land on a moving carrier deck, but for the F-18, it's second nature. The F-18's ability to operate from carriers gives the Navy flexibility to position it worldwide, ready for missions without needing a traditional runway. This capability extends American power globally, giving the US a strategic advantage. So how does the F-18 hold up in real combat? Its performance against actual enemies has built a legendary reputation. Let's explore some of its most famous combat missions. One of the F-18's most notable combat moments was during the Gulf War. On the first night, F-18s hit strategic targets across Iraq. In one iconic instance, a Hornet took out an Iraqi MiG-21, in an intense dogfight before immediately completing a bombing mission. Talk about multitasking under fire. Throughout its service, the Hornet has taken part in every major US conflict, proving its reliability and versatility time and again. Even today, in an era with advanced drones and stealth fighters, the F-18 still holds its own. But why, with all the advancements in fighter jets, is the F-18 still such a powerhouse? Next, we'll see why the military just can't let go of its classic beast. Despite its age, the F-18 evolved. Enter the F-18 Super Hornet. This upgraded version is bigger, faster, deadlier, with more fuel capacity, advanced radar, and updated avionics. The Super Hornet keeps the legacy alive while pushing the limits of what this platform can do. The US Navy continues to use the Super Hornet as its workhorse, proving that F-18 design was not only ahead of its time but adaptable for decades. Even with the arrival of the F-35, the Super Hornet has a firm place in naval aviation. But this legendary plane isn't just a Navy favourite. Why do other countries like Canada and Australia still use it? Let's take a look. The F-18 isn't only a US asset. Countries like Canada, Australia and Switzerland use it for its adaptability, reliability and affordability. It has served in various air forces worldwide, proving it's not only America's supersonic beast, but an international one too. For these nations, the F-18's balance of firepower, range and agility make it a perfect fit. Australia and Canada in particular have used F-18s to bolster their defence systems, contributing to global peacekeeping efforts and training exercises. The F-18's influence on global aviation has made it an iconic aircraft worldwide. Now we know it's versatile and durable, but how does it fare against some of today's most advanced fighter jets? In the age of stealth fighters, the F-18 is a different breed. While it lacks stealth technology, its combination of speed, agility and firepower makes it a formidable opponent. Modern jets might outperform it in radar evasion, but few match its carrier capabilities and multi-role flexibility. The F-18's legacy isn't just in its combat record, but its influence on newer generations of fighter jets. Its design inspired advancements in avionics, flight control and weapons integration impact the future of aviation. So what's next for the F-18? With the rise of drones and 5th gen fighters, let's wrap up by looking at the future of this legendary jet. As the F-35 continues to take over some roles, the Super Hornet still has a future in the Navy, with potential upgrades and mission adjustments keeping it relevant. Its place as a testbed for new technology allows it to stay in the game, evolving even as other jets retire. For now, the F-18 isn't just history, it's an ongoing story in modern air power. This versatile supersonic beast may one day be phased out, but its legacy is cemented as one of the most influential and versatile jets in aviation history. The F-18 Hornet, from carrier deck launches to fierce dogfights and bombing runs. It's a jet that's done it all, and it's still going strong. Its power, adaptability and legacy have cemented it as a true icon. There's one aircraft that proves they just don't make them like they used to do. It's the F-18. The Su-57 Felon, Russia's answer to the F-22 Raptor. Is it the ultimate Raptor killer, or just another attempt at catching up? strength, raw power, and advanced avionics, Russia claims the Su-57 is built to outmatch the legendary F-22 in dogfights and beyond. But can it really take down America's most feared jet? Today, we'll dig deep into the design, the capabilities, and fierce competition between these two fighter jets. The stakes are high. Who will come out on top? Welcome back to the war. The Su-57 Felon isn't just another jet. It's Russia's pride, an answer to America's dominance in the sky. Developed by Sukhoi, the Su-57 has stealth, super maneuverability, and modern sensors meant to rival the best in the world. But building a 5th generation fighter like this was no small feat for Russia. Could this be the fighter to finally close the gap between Russia and American air superiority? Russia's need for the Su-57 was clear: maintain dominance over its massive borders and project power. And after years of setbacks, the Su-57 was finally born. Let's break down what makes the Su-57 stand out or fall short. It's powered by twin engines with thrust vectoring, giving it insane agility in close quarters combat. With a top speed over Mach 2, it can cover ground fast, and a range of around 2,200 miles keeps it in the fight for longer. But here's the real question: how does it compare to the F-22 Raptor? The Raptor has similar speed and range, but the Su-57 claims to have the advantage in close-in agility. We've seen specs on paper, but can the Su-57 hold its own where it counts, in a real dogfight? The Su-57 may look stealthy, but just how stealthy is it? Compared to the F-22's sleek, radar-evading profile, the Su-57 has a boxier design, which experts say makes it easier to detect. Russian engineers argue that the Felon sacrifices some stealth for better maneuverability and firepower. But is this risk worth taking? Does the Felon's stealth sacrifice make it vulnerable to detection by enemy radar, or does its combat agility make up for it? Now let's talk firepower. The Su-57 boasts an internal weapons bay, carrying air-to-air missiles and guided bombs. Its R-77 missile has long-range capabilities to strike enemies at distance. This is a direct answer to the F-22's formidable AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, also designed for long-range air-to-air combat. The Su-57 also includes advanced air-to-ground missiles, making it versatile against various targets. But the question remains, will these weapons be able to find their mark against the stealthy Raptor? Is the Felon's weapon system enough to challenge the deadly accuracy of the F-22? The brains of any fighter jet lie in its avionics. Here's where the battle heats up. The Su-57 is equipped with the latest Russian radar tech, including the N-036 Byelka radar. This multi-band system allows it to track multiple targets simultaneously. But how does it stack up against the F-22's AN/APG-77 radar? The F-22's radar can detect targets at long range without being detected itself. Some experts believe that while the Su-57's radar is advanced, it might still struggle to spot the Raptor at a distance. Can the Su-57 see the Raptor before the Raptor sees it? Money talks. Each Su-57 is estimated to cost Russia around $50 million per jet, and production has been slow, with only a few in active service so far. In contrast, the US produced nearly 200 Raptors before halting production, giving them an established fleet. Although each Raptor does cost around $150 million. With limited numbers, can Russia's Su-57 Felon truly match Americans' F-22's dominance? Plus, reliability is key. Su-57 has faced setbacks, including a crash in 2019 during testing, raising questions about its operational readiness. So in a direct encounter, could the Su-57 take down the Raptor? Here's the hypothetical scenario. In close quarters combat, the Su-57's manoeuvrability will give it an edge, while the Raptor will rely on stealth and early detection. Experts debate whether the Felon's agility could break through the F-22's advanced tracking and countermeasures. It's a tough call. In an actual encounter, the outcome would likely depend on the environment and pilot skill, but on paper, the F-22 might still hold an edge due to its stealth advantage. Would agility trump stealth, or would the Felon find itself outclassed? At the end of the day, the Su-57 is a formidable jet with impressive capabilities. Yet, it's a jet still in limited use. It may not yet be ready to dethrone the F-22 Raptor. While it's clear that Russia aimed to create a Raptor killer, the Su-57 might fall just short, at least for now. So does the Su-57 live up to the hype as a Raptor killer? Maybe not yet, but it's certainly a jet that makes the competition interesting. The race for air superiority is far from over, and the Su-57 is a powerful contender. If you had to pick, would you bet on the Su-57 or the F-22 in a head-to-head showdown? Let us know. Hi soldiers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check back in again soon. That's an order.